Josh Green here for Tungsten Tales. Delighted to be joined by GG Mathers. How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, doing well, mate. Doing real well. Yeah, after a good weekend over in NZ.
Yeah, good times. And look, back at Ali Pali, that's the main story. Really exciting times for you to get back on that big stage, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I miss the darts and the lifestyle the darts gives you sort of in the UK and throughout Europe. So coming back to Australia, you sort of never know when you're going to get that chance again. So to get back there after a couple of years missing, yeah, I can't wait to mix it with the best again.
Talk to me about what the last couple of years has been like, darts wise, for yourself and the journey that's now led back to getting back to the PDC World Championship.
Yeah, it's pretty much sort of the same, just with a lot less pressure than what a tour card holds, and playing like the best week in week out over and throughout Europe. Um, Plus having the family about as sort of you don't you don't sort of when you have a loss you come home to your family. When I couldn't do that for quite a lot of the time while I was in based in the UK. So that probably the biggest thing is coming home to your family after you've had a loss is a lot better than not coming home to your family after a loss.
How do you reflect on the time having the tour card now that you're back home and you've got your sort of family life back? What was it like being over here? And do you sort of look back and was it the right decision to come over, or do you look back with any regret?
Yeah, well, obviously the timing wasn't ideal with COVID. Um, Obviously, the first 9 months, I never seen my family. Couldn't get the family there because of COVID. We had every intentions of moving the whole family over, but circumstance wise, that wasn't afforded. But then they did spend 6 months with me over there, and I think the darts sort of showed at that for that 6 month period, as per my answer before, when you've got your family about, it's a lot easier to take a loss, and it's a lot more. It's just plain different to having your family there. But look, I wouldn't not do it again. The darts wise, that was the career wise, that was the best sort of 2 years of my darting like career. So I would definitely do the same thing again, but without COVID.
Having had that couple of years over here playing against the best, what's it then like going back to Australia and playing on that sort of regional circuit and being back in those sort of competitions? Is there, I know you say there's less pressure because you've got the family around and if there's a loss, you can go back to that, but you're a big fish in a small pond, I guess, when you go back to those competitions. Does it feel like that?
Yeah, you've always got a target on your back. Everyone always, without being cocky, I always walked in thinking I was the best player going into a tournament. So you've got sort of that target on your back. But if you're not walking in somewhere thinking that you're the best player at the tournament, there's no use sort of being there. So coming back, I had a lot of confidence. Sometimes it showed, and sometimes it didn't. This year, obviously, it has showed.
Yeah. And getting through to that World Championships, we sort of touched on it earlier. That is the culmination, sort of the end goal of going to all these big tournaments, coming through the Oceanic Masters to get to that. Does it feel like a sort of a big step getting back to the World Championship? Obviously, doing so without a tour card.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, massive step. The competition that we had in Auckland, like some of the best players in the Oceanic region. So to come through a field like what I did, yeah, it makes me proud to be able to have done that.
How has the scene in Australia and New Zealand changed from when you came over here initially to what you're seeing now when you head into these competitions?
Um, it's probably been a bit stagnant to be honest. We pre-COVID, obviously, and you can put anything you want on COVID, but pre-COVID, the Dart Players Australia scene was the best of the best playing each other every 2 or 3 weeks, 70 to 80 entries. But this year is it's been in a bit of a decline, unfortunately, and obviously there's the WDF and that side of things as well. A lot of the people in Australia, because it's so far to travel everywhere, you've either got to choose one or the other. You can't really do both realistically with work and just travel wise. So we don't get the best players at just one tournament. It's a bit, yeah. But at the end of the day, I do the Dart Players Australia because the biggest ticket is still the World Championship. So yeah, I guess it sucks in a way that we're so far
Mm.
sparse in Australia that we can't all play together the best of the best in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, I've talked to Damon and Simon a little bit about that before, and it seems like there's sort of a bit of a split. There's maybe some politics going on where it's not at the moment the best and the perfect outcome for the players. What do you think sort of needs to change to make sure everyone's on the right page and we are back to those days where all the best players are playing at the same tournament?
Look, like you said, politics, and I try and stay out of that side of things and just try and play darts. But again, it comes back to the nature of how far away from each other we are. Like it was quicker for me to go to Auckland last week than it is to go to Perth in Australia. So I take my hat off to like Joe Comito, who's qualified for the Worlds as well through the Grand Prix ranking points. There was 5 or 6 of those guys. They travel to every tournament on the east coast of Australia, and like the amount of time spent away from home, the amount of money spent, it's unfortunate that we're just that far away from each other. And a lot of the guys in Europe, they don't realise that it's that far. Like I've had guys in when I was over there. There's a tournament 3 hours away, and they say, "Oh no way, that's way too far." Like there's tournaments here we have to fly 3 hours, then drive 4 hours to. So I don't think in a perfect world, I don't think unless like the powers to be come together and get their heads together for the players, it's just not. It's never going to work, unfortunately.
Over here in the UK, we've of course got a new Aussie number one in Damon Heta, who came from the scene, of course, over in Australia. He post World Championship is up to number 6 in the rankings, which would be an incredible achievement in the sort of short time, really, that he's been over here. I'm sure you've watched on with some admiration of what Damon's achieved so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I tip my hat to Damon and Megan for making the jump across. And look, I the first year that Damon had the tour card, he barely won a game. Like, and he freely admits that he struggled that first year. And to be where he is now, like it's inspiration to a lot of guys in the Oceania region, which gives them that confidence to go to Q school and go and have a go. I know off the top of my head, there's 5 or 6 from the Oceania region that have already signed up to go to either the UK or the German tour card qualifiers. So Damon gives that confidence that we can do it, because he was just one of us. He was just one of the guys 4 years ago. So yeah, I really admire what he's done in the game of darts.
With the performances he's putting in and his world ranking, there will be sort of questions about a possible Premier League space. Now, the last Aussie in the Premier League, of course, was Simon Whitlock. What would it mean for Australia, and do you think it's deserved for Damon to be in a possible Premier League spot next year?
Oh, absolutely. He's worked hard. He obviously he's one of a dozen that would be deserved of a spot. But to get that spot back for Australia, as Simon had for many years, in the Premier League, would only be beneficial to darts in Australia moving forward. Definitely.
The final thing we've got to touch on is we can see from speaking to you now, you've lost a significant amount of weight. It's terrific to see you looking so well, looking so happy. Just talk to us about that journey, if you don't mind.
Yeah, look. So obviously, people would have seen me at my worst. Sort of when I sort of I've always been big, but when I got a tour card, I stopped working, and the lifestyle of a dart player isn't the best. Anyone can attest to that. You're eating at the wrong time of the night, and, because you have to. There's nothing else open. It's all junk food and stuff like that. So I blew out really badly until I came back to Australia, and just my kids were the catalyst to lose the weight, because my father passed away at the age of 57 with heart failure. So they were into me. Dad, you look too much. You're going like Big Pop, and then my brother actually, who played in the inaugural World Series with me back in 2013, he had weight loss surgery, and I seen him go through it. So yeah, in March this year, I touched a weight of 160 kilos, which is what 20 odd 30 stone in your language. And I just made the decision that the time. So I'm down at the moment to 110. So 50
Wow,
kgs I've lost in about 6 or 7 months.
that's incredible.
And do it again tomorrow. I've got so much more energy after playing a weekend of darts instead of having sore knees and a sore back for 3 or 4 days. I come home and run around with the kids and stuff, and they're happy that I've done it. So yeah, I'm ecstatic that I've done something about my weight.
I was going to say it must have made such a difference, not just on the dartboard and in competition, but your family life as well must have changed because of the amount of weight you've lost. Does it really feel like it's given you a new lease of life?
It has. It definitely has. It's like a new life, because I was spiraling out of control 6 7 months ago. Getting home from work and just on the couch, just going to sleep because I had no energy. And now it's chalk and cheese. It's so good, and I'm so happy that I've done it.
That's fantastic. I think I speak for the darts world in congratulating you on it and pleased that to see you looking so well. Really appreciate the time today, Gigi, and yeah, look forward to seeing you in London in December.
Yep, no worries. Thanks for having me on, mate.